Hello, my name is Madison, and today I'll be debunking the myth that psychoanalytic therapy forces patients to confront the root problem from childhood. When people hear the term psychoanalytic therapy, many immediately imagine a patient lying on a couch being forced to uncover hidden childhood trauma. This image has become one of the most recognizable stereotypes about psychotherapy, even for people who have never been in actual therapy themselves. A major reason for this perception is the influence of early psychoanalytic theory, especially the work of Sigmund Freud, who believed childhood development, particularly the psychosexual theory of development, shaped adult behavior. But this myth also persists because pop culture simplifies therapy into dramatic emotional breakthroughs. In reality, modern psychoanalytic therapy is usually much more gradual and focused on understanding patterns in emotions, relationships, and coping styles over time. Another important point is that many people confuse psychoanalysis with all forms of therapy. This presentation will examine why the myth is inaccurate and how modern therapy is more flexible and individualized than these stereotypes suggest. This slide explains why the myth about psychoanalytic therapy continues to persist today. One major reason is that Sigmund Freud and his theories became strongly associated with all forms of psychotherapy. Because Freud emphasized unconscious conflict in childhood development, many people assume that every single therapist focuses heavily on childhood trauma. Another reason is the way therapy is portrayed in movies and television. Media often shows therapists uncovering dramatic or repressed childhood memories as the key to a sudden emotional breakthrough. While this creates an interesting storyline, it does not accurately represent how most modern therapy works. There is also confusion between older psychoanalysis and contemporary psychotherapy approaches. Modern therapy has evolved significantly and now includes hundreds of different approaches that focus on the present self only. Finally, many people fear judgment or emotional discomfort when they think about therapy. Some worry they will be pressured into discussing painful experiences before they are even ready. These fears and stereotypes may help keep the myth alive, even though modern psychotherapy is more collaborative and patient-centered than people often believe. This slide focuses on scientific evidence that challenge the myth about psychoanalytic therapy. Research shows that many forms of therapy are actually focused on present thoughts, behaviors, emotions, and coping patterns rather than uncovering childhood memories, according to Stricker and Gold. For example, cognitive behavioral and behavioral therapies are highly effective for treating anxiety, depression, and other psychological disorders without emphasizing early childhood experiences. Studies have also found that one of the strongest predictors of improvement in therapy is the quality of the therapist-client relationship. Emotional support, trust, and consistency are often more important than covering a single root cause from the past. In addition, many therapists today use integrative approaches, meaning they combine techniques from different therapeutic models, such as DBT or inner child work, depending on the patient's needs. This research demonstrates that successful therapy is not based on forcing patients to relive childhood trauma. Instead, therapy is most effective when it helps individuals build healthier thinking patterns, emotional awareness, and coping skills that improve present-day functioning. On this slide, I explain the truth behind the myth that psychoanalytic theory forces patients to confront childhood trauma. One important concept of therapy is transference, where patients naturally reveal relationship patterns during therapy sessions. According to Robillon's research, these patterns emerge on their own through interaction with the therapist rather than being forced or imposed. This allows therapists and patients to understand how past experiences may still influence present behavior. Another important point is that childhood experiences are only explored if they are relevant and helpful to the patient's current situation. The goal of therapy is not to dig up trauma, but to promote self-awareness, emotional growth, and healthier ways of thinking and relating to others. This slide explains why it is important to challenge misconceptions about psychotherapy. One major issue with this myth is that misunderstanding therapy can discourage people from seeking mental health help even when they could strongly benefit from it. Many people avoid therapy because they fear being forced to discuss painful childhood experiences or trauma before they are ready. When accurate information about psychotherapy is shared with the society, it can reduce stigma and fear surrounding mental health treatment. Understanding therapy as a collaborative and patient-centered process helps people feel safer and more open to pursuing support. Therapy is designed to help individuals develop coping skills, emotional insight, and healthier thinking patterns to improve their everyday lives. It's also important to recognize that there are hundreds of therapeutic approaches available, meaning treatment can be adapted to fit each individual's specific needs and comfort level. Overall, promoting scientific understanding of psychotherapy allows people to make more informed decisions about their mental health and challenges harmful stereotypes surrounding therapy. To conclude, the myth that psychoanalytic therapy forces patients to confront childhood trauma is an oversimplification of how modern psychotherapy actually works. While childhood trauma can be explored, therapy is not coercive or entirely focused on the past. Instead, modern psychotherapy emphasizes collaboration between the therapist and the client, allowing individuals to explore thoughts, emotions, and experiences at their own pace. Another important point is that therapy is often focused on present-day functioning and helping patients develop healthier coping patterns, emotional insight, and self-awareness. Research shows that meaningful psychological growth does not require forcing patients to uncover hidden memories or relive traumatic experiences. Understanding the truth behind this myth is important because misconceptions about therapy can discourage people from seeking support. By promoting a more accurate and scientific understanding of psychotherapy, we can reduce stigma and encourage a more realistic and positive mental health treatment. That I used for both the presentation and the paper. And thank you for listening.